Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Last Friday, we were in Hebrews chapter 12, verses 4 through 11, looking at the idea of discipline and suffering. And I suggested that God sounded a little bit like a drill instructor or a weightlifting coach or something like that, pushing us to do hard things in order to grow. So I want to back up now because we're heading into a section that has sort of 4 admonitions. And I just want to reframe things. And again, I want you to get the flow of the book. So this letter, this sermon written to Jews who are suffering, who are going to suffer more. And the writer, who we don't know, not sure who it is, but the writer of this letter or sermon starts by saying Jesus is the best you're ever going to do. Right? You're never going to meet anybody better than Jesus. He is better than the angels, better than the prophets, better than Moses, better than anything and anyone. And consequently, we should follow him. We should serve him. We should try to imitate him. We should do everything we can to get as close as we can to Jesus in our thinking and in our actions. This is a spiritual growth, and it's hard. It's a long obedience in the same direction. It's not a sprint. There are lots of running analogies here because it's talking about discipline, but it's a long race that we are in. And so that led us into this more recent section where we were talking about discipline. We were talking about suffering. And I said, look, if we're in Christ, we're not being punished by God for our sin. We may be suffering the consequences of our sin, paying the idiot tax on it. Could be that we are just suffering because this is a fallen world and we long for one that works. We long for God's kingdom to come and for sin to be done away with. It could be that we are suffering under discipline. And the discipline is not punishment. It is actually, it's a coach. A coach gets us to do the things we never want to do in order to be who we've always wanted to become. And there's a sense in which God sets trials and challenges and other things in front of us that we can grow. So we now are coming into a section that has these 4 admonitions, and they can feel a little bit like the things that parents say to kids, right? Kid wants to go outside and you go, well, be sure before you go that, you clean your room and you mow your lawn and you put your clothes away and you get your homework done. So it can feel a little bit like that, but I want us to take these today, just the first one, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 12. Therefore, so in light of this talk about discipline and all these other things, everything that's come before, therefore, strengthen your tired hands and weakened knees, and make straight paths for your feet so that what is lame may not be dislocated, but healed instead. What in the world does that mean? Strengthen your tired hands and weakened knees. I have weakened knees, a little bit too much running. Strengthen your tired hands and weakened knees and make straight paths for your feet so that what is lame may not be dislocated, but healed instead. So basically, the passage here, this first admonition says, stay on the path. Walk the straight and narrow, right? Don't get out there too far. Don't fall over. And this sounds, to be honest, pretty boring. It sounds like we're being instructed to follow a boring path. So I want to make 2 quick points here. One, evil sounds good, exciting, bold, adventurous, sexy, daring, all these things. Evil has that reputation. It's enticing. But it's not that. Evil is only ever broken good. It can never be as good as unbroken good. Evil is banal, it's boring, it's repetitive. That's why addictions happen. We're promised something, but the thrill of the brokenness is never enough. We got to get more and more broken in order to still be enticed. And so pretty soon the addiction is demanding more and more and delivering less and less. And so evil is boring in the end. Good is what is exciting. And secondly, along the same lines, freedom, staying on the path, doesn't sound like freedom. It sounds oppressive. It sounds restrictive. But freedom actually is the freedom of, not the freedom from. Lots of people today want freedom. And by that, they just mean they don't want responsibilities. They don't have to do anything. They want to be free. but they want the results of being disciplined. I would love to be free to play the piano. I would love to be free to do certain things, but it only comes through discipline. So we've got to understand the path forward that God sets in front of us with his law is actually the path to freedom and excitement. We just mistakenly think it's a restrictive and boring path. We'll talk tomorrow.